Hello, here on my channel today we are going to be talking about Word of the Year. Now if you already have your Word of the Year, stick with me because this is a little different. I know a lot of folks will do something to help you choose your Word of the Year, and I too have a guide in case you haven't chosen one and after watching this you decide that you feel like this is a great idea for you. I'll link to that in the description. But what I want to do today is a little bit different. I'd like to talk about how to actually use it to get that transformation that you desire. How do you actually go about embodying this word that you've chosen? And I think you can let it be passive in your life, and you probably will get some growth from that. But if you take a more intentional and active role in how you utilize your word, I think you're bound to really see some powerful results. And that's what I'd like to talk about here today. So this is actually my first time choosing a Word of the Year. I'd heard about it before, but never felt motivated or driven to try it out. And after hearing some new perspectives on it, I did decide to give it a try. I chose a word in early January, so a few weeks ago, and my word is lead. So I intend with that word to be showing up here much more often than I have and much more regularly than I have in the past. But I'm real excited about this, using this as a tool, because I really see a whole lot of potential in it. And here's why. We all aspire to be something more than we are today. And we are constantly learning and growing and evolving and changing. But it's really wise to decide specifically how you want to grow and change. And I think using one word to guide you through the year can really help with that a lot. So essentially, you use your Word of the Year as a tool to help you direct your attention in many ways throughout your life. At work, and how you run your business if you own a business, and in your personal life. And this concentrated attention to becoming and embodying this word helps you transform as a person. And I, even within just this few week time, am already starting to see some results of how I'm thinking differently and how I'm approaching what I do and the work that I do a little differently because of my choice. So like I said, today I wanted to focus a bit on how I plan to use my Word of the Year for a growth tool and as a tool for personal transformation. And you know, with any tool that you use, one of the most important things, as you know, is you have to use it. And so it's really important with this Word of the Year tool to find ways that you are going to remember and think about what it means to embody that Word of the Year often. And so there's a few ways that I am doing that. One way is just putting it in different places where I'm going to see that word and to remind me. One of the places that I most like doing that is in my journal. And if you listen to, I think it was my journal or my video a couple times ago, I talked about how it's actually on the inside pages of my journal. And not only did I write what my Word of the Year is in there, but I also put in there a definition, or like several definitions actually on what it means. So like in the case of lead, I wrote things down like guide by going first. It's to show the way, to cause another person to go. So all about inspiration, which is really what I want to do anyway, but I want to do it in a much bigger way. So I also wrote down in here one of the antonyms of the word as a reminder as well, and that was to not yield. So I really like that, and because I think a leader is someone that can keep going when the going gets tough, right? They're still out in front leading the way. And so I really like seeing that antonym as a reminder as well. And so I've got, like I said, all of that is on the front pages here. Then another place that I'm seeing it on a daily basis, because that is the way I use my journal. That'll be the first things I see every morning. But then I also, the next thing I flip to is my dream steps and goals, if you will, and what I'm going to be doing. But the pages right after that is my vision board pages. And right there, front and center as well, is my word. And it has pictures on my vision board here, as you'll see, that help me visualize what it looks like and would feel like to be a leader. So when I'm looking at my vision board, I'm feeling what I would feel like when I lead like I want to lead. So the next thing that I will be doing on a regular basis, and I've done this once so far, and I'll share these journal prompts with you, but it's to check in with myself on a regular basis and use journal prompts to really help me decide what are ways that I can show up and embody this word, and then to assess how am I doing. And so, you know, using some reflection on a regular basis. So I thought I could walk you through some of what those journal prompts are and my feelings about how that went for this first time through. So I've actually got it tabbed here. So the first journal prompt that I have is, how will I know when I have truly embodied the word that I have chosen? So this is going to get me thinking ahead somewhat, again, from that visualization standpoint of what does it really take? What does that really look like? What will I be doing? How will I see myself? How will I know that, yes, I am truly embodying this word? And I'll go ahead and put all the journal prompts that I'm sharing with you here today in the description so that you can easily access them, so you don't have to worry about writing them down now. But it's interesting because the first thing I wrote down when I started answering that particular journal prompt is, it is here within you. You have to access it now. You just simply have to allow it to flow. And I think that all of us have the ability to be leaders, and you know, it may be in different areas of our life, but we've all got strengths and we all have that spark of leadership, I believe, within inside us. But at least for me, and maybe this, you can relate to this as well, it's allowing yourself to step through the fear of stepping up and leading, because that's not a place where most of us are comfortable, and definitely not in my case. So it really, I do believe it is allowing myself to show up and simply be a leader. So I did write down some other things as well. For me, it's being well prepared before an event, not trying to wing it at the last minute, if you will. It is spending more time really listening and being very curious. I also wrote down that I care enough to show up fully and like to really be there for people. I think a leader is really there for people, and so I want to do that. So the next journal prompt that I wrote down is, how have I struggled in using my word of the year? So this one's more of a reflection prompt, so you would use this, you know, on an occasional basis. I'm probably going to try to use these prompts at least once a month, if not, you know, a little bit more. So when I look back and think, well, how have I struggled in terms of being a leader? And I think for me, sometimes I have a tendency not to be 100% all in until it's time to be all in. And so I recognize that one of the things, particularly with my community, is that I need to give people more of a calendar ahead of time so they know what's happening, and when I need to commit ahead of time is, here is when I'm going to be available, here is when I'm showing up, and really be all in for that. So another journal prompt for you is, in what ways have I embodied my word this month? Well, for me, this month I did 2 workshops. I did a vision board related workshop, or it was actually a vision board, 5-day vision board challenge. And then I also, at the very beginning of the month, I had done a workshop on helping people to choose their word of the year. So doing more workshops, stepping up to lead more. There's the word lead. Yeah, so that's one of the ways that I have begun to embody that. I also have, through thinking about my word, you know, and I think I had noted up here that I'm well prepared for an event. So I have already noticed that I am being more intentional about spending more time in the planning process, so that my ideas are very clearly communicated, so that someone can easily grasp them and follow along. So I think I'm doing better at that. It's something that will be a work in progress for me, for sure. Another journal prompt for you is, what 3 ways, or what 3 things can I do this month to more fully embody my word of the year? So what I wrote down for myself this time is, and I just kind of mentioned this a moment ago, is that I'll be letting people know ahead of time a schedule of events that are happening way in advance. I'm going to work a little bit more in terms of how I present myself, and it's something where I don't know that I truly feel like I have found what my dress is that I'm truly comfortable with. So that's something it's been a little bit of a work in progress for me. I'm going to put a little more time and attention there so that I can show up in clothes that I feel really confident and comfortable in at the same time, and that feel like me. I think that's where I've really struggled, is really trying to define my style. So I do need to put some time and attention there, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to playing with. I wrote down ask more questions, and then also time, spending enough time before an event to really ground and center myself. I do this a lot, but there are also times where I just will show up and be ready to go. But I do know that when I take the time to really take a few minutes to just calmly breathe, meditate for a few minutes, listen to my breath, that type of thing, that then my communication, I believe, flows a lot more smoothly. And that's something that I really want to practice, is being able to clearly speak from the heart in a way that's easily understandable, in a way that I can really clearly and succinctly communicate ideas so that they're remembered. So that's some journal prompts for you. The last thing that I had wanted to share with respect to how I intend to use this tool of the word of the year is really making a habit of asking myself on a regular basis, what would a leader do? You know, how would a leader handle this? Before I get ready to start any project, before I get ready to make a decision on things, just to continue to ask myself that question. Because I believe the more that I do that, the more that I'm going to get myself in that thought process on a regular basis of how a person that already embodies that word will think, make decisions, and act. Continuing to remind myself of my word as I'm asking myself questions and making decisions, that it's inevitable that I am going to be more embodying that word by the end of the year. I hope you have found some of these ideas helpful. I hope you will find the journal prompts helpful if you already have your word of the year picked out and you want to make sure that you really get the most out of it. If you don't, like I said, I will also put a link to where you can get the guide in my Art of Intentional Living community. And feel free to drop me any questions, obviously, in the comments. I would love to know what your word of the year is as well. And I wish you the best of success with it. Have a wonderful week.